Taxi! Get him now, before the police come.
T-minus 5, 4,
Hey, come here.
3, 2, 1. Ignition. Liftoff.
The white zone is for immediate loading.
La zona blanca es...
This afternoon. Fabulous.
I'm Danny Bonaducci, and you are watching Gov's Radio. This is where you go if you want to see something or if you want to hear something funny. Coming up in just a couple minutes. This is a joke I told. What? I'm not on Gov Radio? Call the police. Call my agent.
The Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body has been the leader in auto body repairs and customer satisfaction on Long Island. Two Eagles Auto Body handles every type of auto repair, from custom applications and restorations to repairs involving insurance claims. So call Two Eagles Auto Body and ask for John Rossi at 516-328-2527.
Buckner's behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
Hello, Tony. Mookie Wilson here, 1986 Mets. How you doing? Long time no see, man. Hey, man, I miss you guys, man, at Knockem Day Comedy Radio, man. I miss you. I wish I was still up there, man. But I'll wait till it warms up a little bit, and hopefully this year things will be a little bit better, man. But when we're talking about comedy, hey, the early years of Mets was a lot to laugh about. You had to make a lot of comedy off those guys. Hey, hope to see you guys during the summer, and hopefully get back on the show, man, at some point in time during the course of the year, all right? All right? Yeah, fine. Contact me, man. All right, Tony. Talk to you later.
Hi, everybody. Happy Monday to you. Hope you had a great weekend. Welcome to the Knockem Dead Comedy Show right here on Gov's Comedy Club podcast. We're coming at you live from the legendary Governor's Comedy Club right here in Levittown, New York. We're excited to see. We're excited about the show today. We got it's going to be a great week. It's going to be a great week on this show. We got a lot of great guests coming your way this week on our show. We're going to be hanging out with Ian Conningham in just a little while. He should be joining us around 11:15, in between 11:15 and 11:30. Ian will be joining us. We have comedian Karen Krentz joining us tomorrow, along with Sean Elliott, of course. And there is the possibility of Richie Byrne coming in again tomorrow, which I don't blame him because he wants to see Karen. Get out of my way, Richie. Thursday, we have Long Island dancer and actress Stephanie Falciano will be joining us. That's going to be a lot of fun. And Friday, joining Andy and me, two of our favorite ladies, Linda Marcus Smith and Helene Witt. A couple of firecrackers right there. It's always fun when they come and hang out. So looking forward to that. So a lot of great stuff. A lot of great things happening on our show here that we're excited about. Very excited to talk to Ian today. I've met Ian once, courtesy of our pal Elio Pace. So looking forward to talking to Ian today. Very established actor. Looking forward to that. Extinguished. We're going to murder him today. So how's everybody doing? You guys doing all right? I hope everybody had a great weekend. I want to tell you about my weekend. I had a fantastic weekend. First off, congratulations. My brother went home. As a lot of you know, last week he was in the hospital. Last Monday, Joe DeJesus was in here with me, and we kind of put the hex on Frank. We were making fun of him and talking about him, and sure enough, he ended up in the hospital Monday night. Monday afternoon, whatever. And he got out of the hospital Saturday. With a little less of him. He had half a toe amputated, which, means nothing to me, amateur. Hello, John Rusiello down there in Florida. Where is my French toast? You got to come up and get it. You want some French toast? You got to come in here. You have an open invite, John. You come in here anytime you want, and we'll hang out with you and have some laughs with you. And I promise you French toast. And it's worth the trip. Between hanging out in here and the French toast, it's definitely worth the trip. So we hope to see you. Yeah, and the French toast was great, by the way. Vicky, greetings from Beantown. So glad Frank is doing okay. Thanks. Beantown. What's that? Boston? Is Boston Beantown? Is that where you are? John says thank you. Okay, cool. My pleasure. Yeah, so my weekend was good. I don't know if we even mentioned last Wednesday night, Knockem Dead Comedy, we performed one of our murder mysteries at That Meatball Place in Patchogue, New York. That's kind of towards the east end of Long Island, about 30 to 40 minutes east of here, where we are right now in Levittown, New York. We had a great time. We always have a great time there. Great food, great service, great time. We had one person the next day on Google review give us a very bad review, which is fine. You know, I have no problem with that. We're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Nobody likes everything, right? So you're not going to please everybody, and I'm cool with that. You show up, you didn't like it, I'm sorry, but it happens. But I do have an issue with people who take the time to really write bad, mean, nasty reviews. It's not like we did something to this person. It's not like we scammed this person. It just wasn't her cup of tea, but yet she felt the need to blast us. And she actually, the woman actually complained that the murder mystery didn't have much of a plot. So I commented, I responded. I was polite about it, but I did in a polite way ask, I just pointed out the name of our troupe has the word comedy in it. And she might have pointed to say that, there was music and games right in the middle of the show. It didn't make sense. It's a comedy show. It's not a don't blink or you miss something. It's a murder mystery, but that's just part of the fun. I don't know. So I was very nice and polite to this woman, but it did really bug me. Like, again, don't try to hurt us just because you didn't enjoy it. You know what I mean? I don't know. So that was Wednesday, and Sean Elliott did show up. He was late, but he was late because he performed that night at McGuire's. So it was very nice of him to show up. Sean has he's become an instant favorite of the studio here. We really enjoy him, and it was nice of him to show up. And Boshi, of course, kicked ass, and it was a great time. And then Saturday we were here in the green room. Hope you caught it. If you didn't catch it, go back on YouTube and watch. It was amazing. We had Sheba Mason, who is the daughter of Jackie Mason. She was in this room. Tim Crompier. Tim Cromps is he's just one of the best out there. He's one of the best there is, and it was cool to have him in. Tom Kelly stopped by. Of course, Bosie was here with us. I'm trying to think of anybody else. Pat Johnson, I believe his name is, a young comic who's doing a lot in the city, but he's a Long Islander. He hung out for a little while. It was a great show, and the whole night was great for me. It was a crazy night for me. I ended up doing double duty. I co-hosted in here with Don, but Don pretty much took the reins as I ended up hosting in the big room. It was weird. So I got here early, and Ben Bailey, if you remember Ben Bailey from Cash Cab, he was the headliner here in the club. And so what happened was, I got here early, and I was walking past the green room, and Ben was in there by himself. Don't mind me. I just want to. I'm looking for a picture that I want to show you guys, and I gotta get it on the thing. So Ben Bailey was hosting, and Ben Bailey was hosting in the big room, and I'm walking past the big room, and I see. The phone's ringing. I'm shutting the phones off. I got a guest coming in a few minutes. I don't need your phone. If you have a question for Ian, put them in the comments, and I'll read them from the comments. I'm not going to take calls. So I walk past the green room, and I see Ben Bailey, and he's in there by himself. So I just stop real quick, and I'm like, "Hey, Ben," and I introduce myself, and I explained to Ben that there's like a little sentimental thing with me because he was one of our first guests when I started in here almost 6 years ago. Ben Bailey was one of our first guests. He called in. It was nice of him to call in. We had a great conversation. We had a great time. So this was the first time I was meeting him in person. So I wanted to thank him and just say, it meant a lot that you called in. We were brand new, and you were one of our first guests. So it just meant a lot, and I never forgot it. So we got to talking. It's a nice guy, very nice man. So we get to talking for a minute, and he starts telling me that there's no that there was no MC for the show. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I don't have anything to do with that, but, nothing, sorry. But he looks at me and he goes, is it possible you can get me an MC? I'm like, well, not if I want cement boots. So I just said to him, look, that's out of my control, but I'll see what I can do. I'll go talk to the guys here. So I go looking for James. James wasn't here. He was at one of the other clubs. So I'm just talking to his wife real quick, and I mentioned it to her that, hey, Ben Bailey's looking for an MC. I don't know what to do. Should we just forget it? Do you want to find someone? So she calls James. Laura is James' wife. She works here. She works the front desk. She checks everybody in. She's lovely. She's funny. She's great. One of the nicest people. So she calls James up, tells him what's going on. She's talking for a minute. She goes, all right, okay. She puts her phone down. She goes, all right, well, James said to go ahead and do it. I was like, whoa. I was in a T-shirt. I'm in, jeans and my stupid daddy sneakers. I said, whoa. I wasn't asking because I wanted the gig. I'm just telling you what the guy was telling me. She gets back on the phone. She puts the phone down again. She goes, you want to do it or not? She's not putting up with my stupid shit. So I said, yeah, all right, fine. I'll do it. So I'm hosting the show out there. I'm hosting the show in here. I'm running back and forth. We had a great night. I'll show you some pictures from the night. So when I first walked on stage, I took a selfie. So there's the crowd in the audience. There's the crowd in the background. Great crowd, electric crowd. It was a full house. We just had a great night, and it was super. Ben Bailey never disappoints. We had our pal. There's a few shots that Don Sill took of me on stage, and of course, Fat Jay never disappoints. Fat Jay was the feature. Jay did almost a half hour, which is great. And there's Ben Bailey in the middle. In the Giggle Room, Chris Williamson was hosting for Tom Kelly's show. So there's Don and Chris and Ben Bailey, and then there's our pal Bosie hanging out with Ben Bailey. So yeah, we just had a great night, and it was just crazy for me because I was just working both rooms. But we had a great time. Like I said, we had a lot of great people in here. Go back and check it out if you didn't see it, and support Ben Bailey if you see him in your neck of the woods. Oh, and there he is. Oh, my apologies. Let me get moving on this. My apologies, Mr. Ian Conningham. I didn't know you were here. I didn't see you.
Well, I was trying to be fancy and put a microphone in, and then I couldn't hear you, so I've just pulled the microphone out. It's just like technical.
Believe me, nobody has more technical issues than I do in this room. I'm constantly screwing up. In fact, I'm going to ask you guys to let me know that you definitely hear him out there as you're watching the show, because I don't want to screw anything up. So, Ian Conningham, good morning. Well, it's good morning here, but good afternoon to you, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Doing all right. Good to see you, pal.
Good to see you too.
I've had several guests on here that I think I'm going to take credit for. I think I've started a trend with this whole, bearded, bald look.
Yeah. I mean, somebody said to me the other day, why is it that bald guys always grow a beard? And I'm like, well, we've got to have some kind of creative freedom.
Are you guys are familiar with the Addams Family, right?
Yeah.
I just find if I don't have facial hair, I look like Uncle Fester.
Yeah, I just look like an egg. An egg with massive eyebrows.
Please tell me that was how you got started in acting, that they needed somebody to play an egg in a commercial or something.
Do you know what is really funny is that when I went to drama school, my first year at drama school, I was like, I had a mane. I had like, so much hair. hair. Like, I was like, it was Ian with the hair. Oh, yeah, the guy, Northerner. Yeah.
Right.
And then very quickly it went.
Yeah.
His hair.
Yeah, and, I didn't have a mane. I had like bad hair. It grew out. It looked like a Brillo pad. I was happy to go bald. I'm more than happy to just not have to worry about it.
I remember when I was about 18, my granddad, he was Irish and very only speak when there were things to be said. He was like smoke a pipe when he'd have his sit in his rocking chair,
Yeah.
And one day he went like that to me, and he kind of got hold of my head and pulled it down, and he had a little bit of a, and this was in the main days, and he kind of had a little, and he went, "Let it go, Ian, let it go."
No, you see, you got to enjoy it while you can.
Yeah. But I think he was clearly looking at my hairline and going, that's not...
Oh, I tease my son all the time. Someday you'll be fat and bald like me, pal. But and speaking of bald, I wore this shirt just for you. I don't know if you can see it. It's.
Let me see. I can't.
What can you see?
Billy Joel.
Billy Joel in concert, but if you look at the shirt, it's not Billy Joel.
Is that Mr. Elio Pace?
It is Mr. Elio Pace.
Fantastic.
I actually saw an ad for this shirt on Facebook, and when I saw it, I said, "Oh, I gotta get that." So yeah, and they still to this day. You go to see Billy Joel at Madison Square Garden, you will find somebody outside the garden selling this shirt.
That's incredible.
It's hilarious. And Elio, when I first bought this shirt, I don't think Elio really found it that funny. But now he laughs at it.
Now he sees the comedy in it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is our connection, our mutual friend Elio. How great was that show that night, man?
Yeah, it was amazing, actually. I've known Elio for a long time now, and we'd been messaging about something. I can't remember what we'd been messaging about. And he was like, "What are you doing tonight?" I was like, "Hang on a minute." And then I had 2 hours to get down there, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm on my way."
Nice.
And what was interesting about it is, like, I know one of the albums really well, and I didn't know the first one that well at all, really.
Okay.
And it was astonishing to watch it unfold, and then to meet you. I got that lovely message from Elio on the way, going, "Right, there's one person you need to meet tonight."
Well, I got you beat. You said it took you 2 hours to get there?
No, I had like a 2 hour window. I mean, from where I live into the centre of town, on a good day with a tailwind on my bike, I can do it in about half an hour.
Oh, nice.
Public transport, I kind of made it in about 50 minutes that night. Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
It was great, wasn't it? Brilliant.
Oh, what a show. I mean, I've had the pleasure of that was my second trip to England, and the last time I saw two shows. This time, saw the one, and I've seen him perform here in America. I mean, he just never disappoints. He's just fantastic. And he always has the best bands, the best musicians working with him, which is just amazing. But now my question, like you mentioned, you've known him a long time.
Yeah.
Any good, juicy, embarrassing stories about him that we can share?
Well, I mean, we've shared digs on tour, so yes. No. Do you know, Elio was the first person who auditioned me for a musical. So I was at drama school, and we were in our third year, and we were about to kind of be let loose into the world, and we were all writing off to agents and getting in our submissions to try and get representation. And I wrote to this agent, and he got back to me, and he said, "Look, this isn't like an invite to represent you. However, this job's just come in, and you kind of fit the bill. And it's basically a story about a rock and roll band in 1964-65 in the Northwest trying to emulate the Beatles. They need actors who can play." And I'd always been in bands, and I'd always, in my, kind of, I started playing the guitar when I was about 8 or 9. And then as I hit 11, 12, 13, discovered, certain types of music. But the Beatles were always the thing that was like,
oh yeah,
I want to be a Beatle. My parents are from Liverpool.
Oh, nice.
Very specific. Yeah. And very specific places as well, like really close to where Paul and George grew up, and my mum was from where John and Paul met. So the Beatles were always like a huge thing to me. So playing the guitar. And then I discovered acting, and I got into drama school. But the music thing was always there. So this job was like, well, we need actors that can play. And specifically, you know, bit of bass, bit of guitar, then jump on a bit of kit. And it was all the stuff that I'd kind of, you know, messed around with in my youth. So I went along to this audition, learned my lines, and they had a musical director in the room that was kind of overlooking the auditions, which was Elio. And I do have to say, what a, you know, glorious spirit and energy and nice, open, kind of enthusiastic face in person,
right?
To greet me with. And I can remember midway through the audition going, well, if his facial expression's anything to go by, I think I'm doing all right. And then I got the part, and then and then many years later, we did a show together. We kind of toured together, and we had many, many happy memories and lots of laughs. But my favorite, apart from doing the show with him and many other, you know, really great friends, was our sound check every evening, which seemed to just get earlier and earlier. We kind of ask the sound guys to be like, could you switch the PA on a little bit, like 15 minutes earlier tonight? And we'd go down and Elio would be at the piano, and I'd be trying to, you know, I'd be on the kit mainly, kind of going, I can play like Liberty DeVito. I can do it. And just really, really great fun. And I think we both kind of inspired each other in, you know, I think I kind of inspired him from an acting point of view, and he definitely inspired me from a musical point of view. And I think we kind of, without knowing it, kind of egged each other on just to be, you know, just to kind of enhance each other's talents and work off each other a bit, I guess.
Yeah. And yeah, that's funny because we kind of do the same things with each other. You know, sometimes he'll talk to me about, you know, a set list or, you know, or an encore, or like, and he's very encouraging and motivating for me with whatever I'm doing, whether it's, you know, acting or doing something in here. Like you said, the energy he gives off is just it's just fantastic. It's such a
and I think it's really important, you know, in this kind of world at the moment. And as we get older, and you know, I've got a young a 9-year-old who just, you know, life experience, and you kind of, you know, teaching people and encouraging your friends to kind of empower each other and to, you know, support each other. There's so much, you know, happening in the world where it's like, whether it's the news or, you know, it's competitive, and it's great to have friends who lift each other up and support each other and encourage each other's work and all of that stuff. You know,
but it's interesting you mentioned how you guys kind of, like he you know, helped you musically and you may have helped him acting, but I tried to get him acting one of my shows back in Maine. He wouldn't do it. So you might have to try a little harder, I think.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah. But I did get the better of the deal. Amy did step up and she performed. I run a comedy troupe. We do comedic murder mystery shows where the audience gets to solve it. It's dinner theater. People get to have their dinner and we're interacting. You know, and we have so much fun with it. And and Amy stepped in and joined us. Oh, she was. Did you ever work with her by any chance?
Much better than Elio.
Oh, without a doubt, and much. I mean,
you know,
that's
what she did.
And let's tell the truth here. That's why we talk to him. It's just to get to her.
Yeah.
So, did you ever have the pleasure of working with her?
No, I've not actually. No, but I mean, it's a small world.
Exactly.
You know.
She was fantastic. She was on a cruise ship where she put together a show where she sings rock and roll standards, and she was doing it for the first time on this ship, and she had just put it together. It's her own show, so she, you know, bundle of nerves, and she did the show. She rocked it, and then came off the ship to go home, and you know, but came here first and did the show with me without meeting the cast, without rehearsal. And she totally freaking nailed it, man. Yeah, what a talented. She's fantastic. But all right, so let me ask you. So you mentioned you're talking about going to acting school. What's the big, like? What was the name? What's the name of the school? Is it like the big, because here we have Juilliard. That's like the place. I mean, there's a few places, but what's the school over there called?
So it's like football league tables at times. You know, you kind of, this place is hot, this place is, you know, and you've got your like established, well-known, you know, RADA. People always kind of go RADA, the RADA.
Okay.
And when I was trying to get into drama school, there was, you know, I come from working class background. Nobody really in the family were, you know, theatrical. There wasn't a lot of money. And there were a couple of drama schools at that point doing degree courses, which meant you could get a grant to go to drama school.
Okay.
And one of them was Rose Bruford, which was where I went, which is in London, really well respected, great drama school. And it was kind of almost like there was one in Manchester as well at the time, but that's really close to where I grew up. And I was like, I want to go to London, you know. It's like nothing. It's like, I know that going to drama school 10 miles down the road when you could go to London.
Right.
So, and I kind of had that one crack to get in, and really lucky, and, you know, innocence and confidence, and just went. And I was really, really lucky to have the most amazing, like our schooling over here, you do GCSEs and then you do A levels and then it's university or whatever higher education comes next.
Right.
So after my first lot of exams, my GCSEs, I went to A level, and I was just blessed with the most amazing teacher who was one of those teachers that you meet, who kind of just goes above and beyond to help and inspire. And, you know, he's no longer with us, sadly. And we kept in touch until only a few years ago. And he just sat me down and went, look, you could be an actor, you know, if you thought about this as a career option. And I had, but it just seems so far away and such a distant dream, you know.
And to get that acknowledgement from somebody else, to, you know, the kind of...
Yeah, kind of. But also he had the knowledge of, right, I need a Shakespeare speech. Where do I start?
Wow.
A modern speech. And he just opened me up to so much theatre, you know, British theatre, world theatre, different types of, you know, Stanislavski, Brecht, Grotowski, Shakespeare, took me to Stratford. We all, you know, school trips, college trips. And he was one of those people that, and he, you know, got quite a few actors into drama school from our area. So it was kind of at that moment, I never kind of look back, and I have to thank my parents for being supportive. You know, I remember going home and going, oh God, how do I break this news? Like, you know, I want to be an actor.
Right.
And I remember kind of rehearsing the speech and thinking about how I'm going to do it, and just saying to mum and dad, look, you know, I'd like to give it a go. And my dad being so brilliant, and so I was expecting my mum to go, yep, do it, which obviously she did. But my dad going, well, look, let's give it a go. And if you don't, you know, all the stats were in front of him, how many thousand people apply to get in and how many people get through to the course. And my dad just went, look, you know, let's give it a go. And if you don't get in, we'll rethink it and see what happens. And I look back now and go, God, that was such an amazing, no pressure.
Right. Yeah, now that you have your own children, yeah, it kind of gives you that insight to what a big deal it was. So you never had, like, you never had any other job? Like, you know, as a waiter or something, or you went right into the acting, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean, at 18, my dad had a small business, so I was in summers, you know, Easter, Christmases, I was loading 40-footer wagons with pallets of plastic. And stuff. So yeah, I was working, and because I also had to supplement, you know, what I was term time, I needed a bit of pocket money, I needed a bit of spend, so. And I was, you know, collecting glasses in pubs and stuff. And then since graduating, I've done lots of crap jobs. Can we swear on here?
Yeah, of course.
I've done a lot of shitty jobs. You know, various. But I think, you know, the secret is for so many actors is finding that in-betweeny job that you kind of can tolerate, that you don't mind. And I mean, I've done some ridiculous. I remember one in Covent Garden where I was cold calling over the phone, long life fluorescent light bulbs. You know, the strip lights.
Yeah.
So you'd phone in the morning, and you'd phone like the caretaker or the janitor of a building. You know, hello, and you'd get through to this guy in a dusty office. Hello, yes, and you go, how's your fluorescent light bulbs? You know, you what? Fine, mate. All right then. Well, we've got a new product that, you know, blah, 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 blah. And then in the afternoon, you'd ring back the same person and go, you've won a Casio personal organizer.
Oh, jeez.
And they'd go, what? If you buy these light bulbs.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, I was terrible at it. I was awful.
Yeah.
I couldn't lie. It was just such a, you know, all those type of jobs where you go, what am I doing?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Nobody grows up with, you know, dreaming of becoming that. That's for sure.
No, exactly. And, you know, and then you go, great, a theatre gig's coming, or I'm going to go on tour, or I'm going to go to a regional theatre. And then, you know, hopefully if things go well, you know, bigger things come up. But there's always that in-betweeny job that you have to do. And I've been really lucky for the last 10 years. I kind of got into voiceovers, and that's really that's now my in-betweeny job is voiceovers.
Yeah, which is nice. And you can do them from home too, which is nice.
Yes, that was a learning curve. I mean, once lockdown happened, we were all buying mics and going, shit, what do I need to do?
Yeah.
What? Audacity, what?
Which pissed me off because I had just started in here about 2 years before that. And then everybody was, you know, not only trying to do voiceovers, but everybody and their mother was doing podcasts. So, the competition in here just, you know, like doubled. And, you know, every.
So this is your own space.
It's not my own space. So you see that there. I'm in a comedy club called Governors. It's one of the. We're in New York. It's definitely one of the better known clubs in New York, but it's actually one of the best known comedy clubs in the whole country.
Wow, great!
Eddie Murphy started here. I'm trying to think.
He's good.
Yeah, he's all right. I'm trying to think of other big names that you would know. That Rosie O'Donnell. Do you guys know Rosie O'Donnell?
Yeah.
She started here. There's quite a people that worked with Howard Stern started here. And any big name in comedy you can think of, you know, they've come through here at least once. So it's there. So I'm actually in the club. You know, in the back by the dumpsters. But they have this little studio that I run. So it is kind of like my own because nothing goes on in here without me knowing about it, without me doing it. So yeah, I do treat it like my own little space. And I'm always here. I'm here more than I'm home. But yeah, but it's great though because, you know, I come in here sometimes during shows and I, you know, get some of the big comedians to come in and sit. So yeah, it's fun. In fact, the last time, the first time I was in England, I'm trying to remember. I went with Elio to. We may have even talked about this when I met you that night. There was a guy doing a show. He was like a big comedian at one time. He's older and he's on his way down, but he was doing some kind of show. And there was a bunch of comedians, and there was one guy who was doing a bit about a cat, which was hilarious, which I got to find. I could probably find on YouTube. But backstage with us, Elliot was only going out. He was doing 3 songs, and then he was leaving. But there was a big comedian. John Davison, is that his name?
I don't know.
He was a big comedian in England. Davidson?
Oh, Jim Davidson.
Jim Davidson, yeah. Yeah, he's a big comedian there, right?
Yeah, back in the day, he was like primetime TV.
Right.
Slightly controversial politics now.
Yes, I remember Elio telling me that. Yes, we were. I don't know. So we were at this show. This guy Davidson was backstage with us. I don't know if he thought I was somebody else, or I don't know if he was drinking or what. But he ended up like he made a point to hang with me almost the whole time we were there, and he's sitting there bad-mouthing the other comedians. He's criticizing other people while they're on stage. I'm standing there thinking, wow, what a dick. And I can say this because I have I don't even know who the man is. I've seen clips of him since I met him that night, but no clue who he was at the time. But Elio telling me, no, this guy was, he was big in England at one time. But
yeah, he was doing like all the primetime TV shows.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
But yeah, that's probably the biggest. Oh, and we've had Kerry Godliman.
Oh,
she's been on here, yeah.
So I think Kerry Godliman went to my drama school. I think she's a Rose Bruford. I think she
no
trained.
kidding.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we've never met, but we've got mutual friends, and I'm fairly certain that she's brilliant and she's really, really funny.
She's I'll tell you, I watched her on the last series that Gervais had, Afterlife. Did you see that?
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that yet. No, but
yeah. It was very good. But she was, she's a delight to watch, and her stand-up is fun. Yeah, she's great. She's really great. All right, I'm gonna read a comment here. Looks like our friend Elio is watching. Tony, you're talking to one of, if not the most all-around talented people I've ever known. Great musician, drums, guitar, vocals, phenomenal actor, straight in comedy, a true wonderful artist. I think he's talking about you.
I think he must know another Ian.
Do we? Do you have a guitar over there? We could get a little something out of you. I think we should at some point. I think we should. But you think about that. I got a ton of stuff here. So let's. Let me ask you I have a few shows listed here, but if I ask you, what do you think Americans would know you for? Or where would they have seen you? What comes to mind?
Well, I kind of pop up in things. I'm one of those jobbing actors that pops up in things,
Character actors.
Yeah, character actors, but just kind of, yeah, absolutely. And just a good old jobbing actor. I guess the thing that I got a lot of traffic from are things like Doctor Who or The Last Kingdom, which was really big on Netflix. I was in one of the seasons of those. I did a thing recently called The Girl Before, which was a HBO 4-part thriller. So yeah, I mean, some people will go, oh yeah, I saw you in, and lots of things that will probably be on your side soon. There's just been a big drama over here called Litvinenko, which is about Alexander Litvinenko, the Russian whistleblower that was poisoned.
Yeah.
But I guess for absolute hits, it would probably be Last Kingdom, I'm guessing.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, even Coronation Street has a little bit of a following here. Peaky Blinders is kind of big here. EastEnders, and then you mentioned Doctor Who.
Yeah, Coronation Street was like quite a heavy storyline. I don't know how many years ago I did that, but it was like a big character was leaving. Anna Windus was leaving, and there was lots of heavy-duty police interviews. I've kind of cornered the market sometimes for detectives, DCIs, DI. Right. So there were lots of police interviews. And that is, from an acting point of view, it's such an institution over here. And it's one of those things where you go, oh my, because, it's been on TV for 60 years or so.
No kidding, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So, many childhood memories of that theme tune playing in the background as you're getting out the bath or getting your pajamas on and going to bed. And then it just feels like one of those And it was a nice amount of episodes. It was like 6-7 episodes that you can go in, really good, intense scenes, and then get out again. And,
What's the... Because I watched a bunch of different things, so I've already forgotten what it was from, but... There's one scene you break into somebody's house and the woman's on the bed and you're like, you didn't know if she was a whore or the guy's wife or something. And you said flat out, I don't know if I'm going to kill you or fuck you. And I was like, whoa! I got scared.
No. You go, am I going to say that? That was Outlander with the wonderful Catriona Balfe. And that was kind of before the days of intimacy directors, which you get now on a lot of things, because they're so essential, you know, when you're doing stuff like that, and especially a scene where it's an attempted rape, you know, and so you've got to choreograph these things, and then you've barely met, you know, you kind of come in the morning for a rehearsal the day before you shoot or 2 days before you shoot, and Catriana's shooting lots because she's one of the leads in it, and I'm like, you know, a guest actor. It's like, you know, being a jobbing actor is a bit like being an on-call plumber or something, you know, right? We need a bald guy who can be a sinister rapist.
Let's get Cunningham.
Let's get Conningham. And it's like going, I've got a leak in my cistern, you know. So, and then you find yourself on a set going, oh, okay, this is not a pleasant subject matter, and I'm not a particularly nice character. And there was a nice, because in the program, she's a doctor, surgeon, you know, she can save lives. I won't spoil it, but I mean, this is seasons ago, but she has a moment of moral and occupational kind of, you know, a dilemma, because I end up falling and cracking my head open.
Right, yeah.
But you know, we meet and we rehearse this thing, and my main thing is like, I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. I don't want you to feel in any way panicked, or you know. But you rehearse all this stuff and then you shoot it, and then you see it and you go, oh, bloody God.
It's when you tell the parents, no, you don't need to see that one.
Yeah, exactly. And then you get friends that you've not spoken to for years, or people on Facebook going, oh, that wasn't very nice, was it?
Right. People getting seriously mad at you.
Yes.
Hey, so do you think so? Yeah, character actor. I think that's how we would describe. You know, that's the term we would use for what you described. Do you feel there's more longevity, you know, to being a working actor as opposed to, say, a big star who's big in his or her 20s and 30s when they're still in great shape and good looking, and then as things are starting to, I mean, you know, you look at any big actor, you know, when they get into their 50s and beyond, you know, the roles get less and less juicier, and they're not doing as much. Where a character actor, you know, they're always around. At least in my opinion. To me, I think that's better off. But I'm just curious what you think.
I think it depends how that you know, sexy 20-something-year-old actress embraces their, you know, I mean, you off the top of my head, you go Leonardo DiCaprio, beautiful, you know, Titanic and Romeo and Juliet and all of those things. And as he's getting older, is, you know, embracing the aging process, and, you know, and likewise. And I just think I don't know whether that's a vanity thing or not, but certainly as a character actor, I mean, I don't have to dye my hair.
Right.
And I'm happy to grow old with the parts. And it's funny, you know, my casting bracket, it changes. You know, I had a casting through last week for in between 50s and 60s, and you go, oh God.
Right.
You know, 40 and 30 doesn't feel that long ago.
Yeah,
but certainly as a character actor, I think, I mean, I don't know, I guess if you're young and beautiful and Zac Efron, I guess. But, you know, even like Paul Newman's, Robert Redford's, Meryl Streep,
right?
You know, they were all, you can look back and go, God, they were gorgeous. And then I think if they just embrace their age and the aging process, you know, but we do live in a world now where it's Botox, and, you know, sometimes I tune it, you know, I'll be watching sport over here, and there are so many hair loss advert. I don't know what it's like in the States now, but over here it's like, are you losing your hair? You could go to the Belgravia, you know, and you go, oh God, stop picking on everything, you know, just let us all.
Oh yeah. There's Botox. We're seeing Botox commercials here too, which I just think is
a lot of it
ridiculous. I really can't think of a single person that's had Botox and I'm like, oh yeah, that's better. Really, I think people, Diane Keaton did that movie with Jack Nicholson maybe 15, 20 years ago, and at the time she was probably around 60, and you know, and she's got a nude scene and she looked amazing. You know, I don't know, I just don't have I don't know, I just like the natural
Botox.
Maybe she was full of Botox, and it was just a good job. I don't even know, but I don't know. So all right. So I want to ask. So because we're both of us are big Beatle fans. I think that was what really connected us. So so I'm showing. I'm showing a picture. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So that's is that on the set of Doctor Who?
Yeah, so they kind of gave us a cam. They gave Maisie, I was playing her dad, and Maisie Williams, who was in Game of Thrones. So they gave her like a little flip. I forgot what they were called. They were like a trend for a while. It was like a little flip phone that you could film things on. And they gave me a camera, and it was like, just go around and take photos. Oh, and nice. We were about to shoot this particular scene, and Peter was like, come here. And we had and that was also the day during lunch that Peter went. No, it was a few days after that, actually. We were doing studio stuff. So we were on location there. And this particular storyline, the TARDIS wasn't around. And Peter said to me at lunch, have you seen the TARDIS yet? And I was like, no, I haven't seen the TARDIS. I mean, I don't know how big Doctor Who is out there, but I know it's huge everywhere. Yeah. There's plenty of Doctor Who geeks around here. Yeah. I mean, it's particularly big over here, and it's such a wonderful thing. It's provided so much happiness for so many people over the years. From way, again, like Coronation Street, we were talking about. It goes back, so many years. And I was like, no, I haven't seen the TARDIS. So he had a word with one of the crew who went, give us 20 minutes. And they switched it all on for me. And I kind of went, I've got a video on my phone of me going, and I walked into the TARDIS on my own. All the bells and whistles were going, all the lights were going. Nice. And I just hung out in the TARDIS on my own. Like, what? Amazing. Well, that day we were on a location there, and we were, there were actually paparazzi in the bushes. Really? When we were filming that. This was like a kind of purpose-built village just somewhere in Wales, and it's like a tourist attraction where you can go and see how the Saxons, the Vikings lived, and we kind of shot there. But I could see people in the bushes with long lenses trying to get photographs of Peter and stuff. Like, yeah. Oh, see, so he's because of Doctor Who, he's that big over there, or was he big before that? Yeah, he was big before. I mean, he was a really well-respected actor that pops up in lots of great things, lots of great comedy. The Thick of It. Do you know that? Yeah, I've heard of it. I couldn't tell you anything about it. Oh, you'd love it. He swears like an absolute trooper in it. He plays a brilliant character called Malcolm Tucker, who was like the communications director of a government that is, I mean, laughably like our government at the moment, just kind of going... Right, yeah. But that's, same here. Well, but I mentioned the Beatles. So, yeah, he was kind of big anyway. So, yeah. Well, I mentioned the Beatles because I don't remember the name of the movie, but he played George Harrison in a movie. Yes. So I was gonna ask if you happened to talk about that with him. No, I didn't. That's what film is that? Is that is it like the John Lennon story or something like that? It's like an early 80s one, isn't it? Yeah, it was a bad TV movie. Lots of stick-on beards. Yes, exactly. Where you can see the tape. Yeah, I remember seeing that film. Yeah. I mean, there's so much Beatle content at the moment. It's like I feel utterly spoiled. Which I'm going to get to. Yeah. I totally lost my train of thought. But all right, but I'll show you. Oh, that true or false? The Beatles appeared on Doctor Who. See how much of a fan you are right there, Ian Conningham. No. Obviously, there's no... I think this is a trick question. I mean, I can't think of anything obvious, but I'm going to say yes, because there's bound to be a little... They're in the background somewhere doing... Is there a song playing, or... Yeah, there was some clip of them. There's very little of it in existence, but there is a quick clip. It might be on YouTube. They did appear... Doctor Who was going somewhere, and... Yeah, he looks through a window and sees the Beatles, and they play a song, and then I think that was the whole thing. But yes, I think there's a music connection with the brilliant lady who wrote the theme tune, all of that stuff, and she was into theremins and electronics and all of that. Yeah, I've forgotten her. There's a brilliant documentary about her, And I'm sure there's a link with McCartney got really into her stuff, and it was all quite avant-garde, and it all kind of paved the way moving forward for things like Sergeant Pepper onwards. There's that kind of
the psychedelic stuff
started to happen at the end of Abbey Road and things. Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to look for that. And speaking of McCartney, the next photo I'm going to show. Hang on a second. Okay. This is the next photo I'm showing. That is Paul McCartney's current drummer, Abe Laboriel Jr. What's this picture about?
Well, that was the most incredible party. So I was doing a play at the Old Vic.
Oh, okay.
And there was a big fundraiser, and it was inside Battersea Power Station before they did it up. And they put like a big, it was like, imagine a really huge, posh wedding. It was like one of those tents. It was like one of those marquees, you know, huge thing.
Yeah.
And they were raising money, so there was like celebrity auction. Stephen Fry was the auctioneer. They had artwork by Banksy, you know, the street.
Oh yeah,
yep. Yeah. And the house band that night was Paul McCartney.
Wow.
So I stood under his microphone. It was absolutely mind-blowing. And the band were on, and Abe was out before the gig, and I was like, there's Abe, I'm going to go and say hello. You know, and Brian and Rusty were knocking around. And, and we all sat around at tables and ate, and there were lots of very rich, influential people there bidding on things, and lots of people that donate money, lots of people that like their money to go to good causes, lots of philanthropists, and and it's about raising money for a non-subsidised theatre in London. And McCartney said, yeah, and he came and played.
Wow.
And at one point, I've met Paul McCartney once in the 90s, which was amazing. And then I do remember he was doing, what was he doing? Obla-Di Obla-Da. And he was literally like, I could have tugged his trouser leg.
You did, didn't you?
Yeah. And he was going, in a couple of years, there you built and I kind of, home sweet. I'd had a few wines, And he kind of looked down and went, very good. All right, son.
He leaned down. Would you shut the fuck up?
I'm there for you, Paul.
And then he kicked you.
Yeah, and then he kicked you in the face. Don't ever do that again. Yeah. So I think with that one brass line, technically, I've been in the Beatles.
Yeah, it counts. Totally counts.
Yeah, totally.
And then he stopped and said, oh, Ian, I met you.
Lovely.
And then he stopped and said, Ian, I remember you from the 80s.
Yeah. Did I tell you that?
No. But does it have to do with you being in the Buddy Holly show?
It does.
I see. That's how good I am. I don't know the story, but I was able to piece it together.
Yes, it does have everything to do with me. Would you like to hear my Paul McCartney story?
Yeah, tell us. But let me just tell quickly for our viewers who don't know, Paul McCartney owns the Buddy Holly catalog. So, which is why I figured that you were in a Buddy Holly show. That's probably how you.
Very good. That was very good detective work there.
Oh, he owns
very, very good.
He owns several musicals. He owns the Christmas song, Chestnuts Roasting on Open Fire. He owns that. The man, he's very smart.
Doesn't he own Happy Birthday?
Oh, I don't know. I've never heard that.
As in Happy Birthday. I think he's got like Carousel. He's got Hello Dolly.
Right. Yeah, those I knew.
All the Buddy Holly stuff. Yeah,
but but Happy Birthday, like how would somebody make money off that? It's not like people are recording that; they're just singing it at parties.
Maybe that was
so. If I sing Happy Birthday to you right now because we're on YouTube, maybe then I'd have to pay Paul McCartney for that. That's weird. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that he owns it. Oh, your birthday wasn't that long ago, was it?
It was a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
There you go. The big 5-0, if I remember right.
Big 5-0.
I'm not singing. You're the singer here. I am not singing.
No, you're fine. Don't worry about it.
All right, so tell us. So you were doing this Buddy Holly show.
So I was in the West End. It was my first West End job, and again, it was in. I left drama school at a point where the actor-musician show was kind of taken off. It was really. It became such a phenomenon, really. You know, and they transferred to Broadway things like the Buddy Holly story and Return to the Forbidden Planet, and all these fantastic shows where you've got so many actors on stage singing and playing live. And I was one of the crickets.
Oh, nice.
So I was Joe B. Mauldin, double bass playing cricket, and and it was, you know, it was at the time, along with several other shows, but it was like it was one of the hot tickets in town, and more often than not, you know, we'd be full. At the end of the show, people would be up dancing, and it's an incredible story. You know, Buddy Holly was, you know, paved the way for so many musicians, and he kind of sometimes, I think, slightly forgotten in that kind of, everybody goes, you know, Elvis or Little Richard, Chuck Berry. You go, God, Buddy and the Crickets. I mean, the Beatles were called the Beatles because of the Crickets. You know,
Lennon had the same glasses. That was on purpose.
Exactly,
the same style, yeah.
And we would, because we were the hot ticket, we'd have to do, you know, public, you know, we'd be on TV on the lottery show or breakfast TV or doing, you know, primetime telly or appearances. And every year, Paul McCartney does Buddy Holly Week.
Right.
And he started it in the 70s, I think.
Yep.
And we were invited along to this national, it was the National Rock and Roll Dance Championships or something. And we had a show that night, and this was like in the afternoon in a theatre in Leicester Square, in a club, actually. It was a nightclub, the Empire, in Leicester Square, not far from where we saw Elio.
Oh, fact. Right, yeah, right.
And so we were in there, and I was in my suit that we used to wear at the end of Act One, which was when Buddy and the Crickets played the Apollo Theatre in Harlem, which was the end of Act Two, and they kind of run out on stage, you know, and everybody thinks from hearing their sound that, you know, these guys have got to be black artists, like R&B, all of that great Jerry Allison drumming, you know, and they walk out onto the Apollo stage, and it's like, hi, this white guy with glasses. I'm going to tell you how it's going to be, you know. And it's a really great moment in the show. And so we were in our suits, and we were like, you know, hanging around, and we were watching the people dance. And we did like a little set in the corner, and then we were taken to like the VIP balcony area where we could get drinks, and there were various artists there. Chrissy Hine from the Pretenders was there. And
she's so hot.
She's great. She's amazing, you know. And Shakin' Stevens, do you know Shakin' Stevens?
I actually had no idea who Shakin' Stevens was until I knew Elio, because Elio backed him up for a long time.
So Shaky was a bit, you know, in the 80s, he was kind of a breath of fresh air in the charts. We were like, who's this guy doing all this cool dancing? And, you know.
Right.
So we were stood there, and the company manager was kind of our show, was shepherding us around, and we did a couple of photos with people dancing. And in my dressing room at the Strand Theatre, which is really, you know, beautiful old London theatre, you know, the classic light bulbs around the, you know, little staircases and stuff. I had a poster of the Beatles on next to my mirror, and I had like a cork board, and I put, right, the Beatles are going there, you know. And so everybody knew that I was a Beatles fan and stuff. And the company manager kind of leaned over to me and went, Paul McCartney is stood behind you. And I kind of went, yeah, whatever. Turned around and went, oh, shit. Like, it's Paul McCartney. What do I do? And I had that, like, what if he's not very nice?
Right.
It's going to ruin everything. What do I do? So I went over to the bar. I got half a beer, downed it. Just for a bit of, you know, right, come on, here we go. We're going in there. And I kind of tapped him. I did like this awful, like, hello. And he kind of spun round in like more Paul McCartney than, you know, hey, hi, you know.
Oh, wow.
And I stupidly hadn't rehearsed, like, my opening line, my opening gambit, you know. And what came out my mouth was, hello, I don't want to make a complete arse of myself here. And he went, but you're about to. And I laughed exactly like you just laughed. And then we just had a lovely, and then I think I said, you know, look, I just have to say, you're my hero. It was like, it was just so like pure and honest, and you're my hero, Paul McCartney, and I love you. And he went, he was really quick. He was brilliant. He went, well, you know, we all need heroes. And Buddy Holly was one of my heroes. And so, why? Oh, you're in the show, you know, and we chatted. And then he picked up on my kind of slightly Scouse accent. Where are you from? What's your name first? What's your name first? You know, Ian, where are you from? I said, well, my mum's from Woolton. Oh, I met John there. Yeah, I know. And my dad's from, you know, Speak. Oh, well, George lived there and I lived, you know, yeah, I know. And we talked about, you know, playing the double bass. And he told me, you know, because he's got Bill Black's double bass.
Yes.
Elvis's double bass, but he's got that bass.
Yeah.
And it was just the most wonderful kind of, you know, we just chatted about love of music, rock and roll and all that. And then his kind of assistant guy at the time, because this was like late 90s, John Hamill, I think his name was, came over and said, Paul, we need to go down and do the thing for the photo. Yeah, you know, anyway, lovely to meet you, Ian, you know, great. And off he went. And I was kind of stood there going, oh my God, I've just shaken the hand that played the bass line on, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And I stood around having a chat with my fellow castmates, but just going, shit, I've just met Paul McCartney and I've just met a Beatle, you know.
Right.
Now, a little side story to this is my mum and dad and all of my family who are incredibly Scouse, and most of them not with us anymore, bless them. But my mum called me Ian because it couldn't be shortened, right?
Oh.
Ian. We're going to call him Ian. Can't be shortened. Now, if there's one thing a Scouser will do, somebody from Liverpool, my family all call themselves Scousers, is the one thing a Scouser can do is shorten a name. Whatever your name is, they're going to shorten it. So everybody calls me E in the family. Ian got shortened to E.
Right.
My father, R Ian, R-E, all righty, you know. So I'm stood there having just met Paul McCartney and you know, and I'm chatting to the lads in the show and the company manager and oh God, he's over there again. He's out. There's Paul McCartney's over there. He's at the bar. Oh, there's Paul McCartney. You know, just kind of keep watching him. And then he came diagonally across the room Paul McCartney's going for a piss. There's the toilet. Paul McCartney's going to go for a wee. You know, you know. And as he walked past me, I thought, you know, hello, Paul McCartney. Yeah. And as he walked past, he went, all righty. I went, all right, Paul. He called me E.
Yeah.
And it was such a beautiful, like, acknowledgement from him of, he knew how much I loved him. He knew that I was a fan. He knew my background, what I come from, the Liverpool thing. And he also knows that calling me E would be like, it would make me go,
right. Yep.
Wow. You know, and that's kind of, I think it speaks volumes about him as a person. And it was a real, genuine, beautiful, you know, yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah. that I'm glad you threw that ending in there because that makes the story so special. Yeah. That's great. And I totally get it. I'm from the same town that Billy Joel grew up in, so we do. It's a town called Hicksville. We do feel like we own him. You know, we all like feel like we relate to him better than everybody else. You know, so
it's funny. You know, when I first met you and you kind of opened your mouth, and I was like, Tony, hey, and in my head I was going, he sounds like Billy Joel.
Yeah. Yeah, and
the cadence. It's the, you know.
Yeah, and I get people all the time telling me that I look like him too. We have similar eyes, me and Billy Joel. And,
yeah, you do. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do get it regularly. People will say that you don't look like Billy Joel, and I always have the same answers. I wish my wallet looked like Billy Joel's, but but I
think, you know, areas do have, you know, when I had my hair and I was younger, you know, even at school, people would go, all right, Macca, all right, you know.
Right.
And I don't know whether it's an eyes thing or I don't know. Really. I mean, I don't look like it now, but, you know, you go, yeah, but certainly you definitely do look like. Yeah. It's an area thing. I think it's a genes thing, isn't it?
Yeah. That's a great story, man. That's really great. And yeah, and again, calling you E when he walked past, that's fantastic. All right, well, since I have more to ask you about your career, but since we're talking about the Beatles, all right, I know we've been putting it off because we wanted to save it for here. Thoughts on the new song? I saw some of your tweets where you're getting greedy. Like, oh, I love it. I want more.
I did. I mean, first of all, I think it's a beautiful gift. I'm 50 years old. The Beatles are at number one.
Right.
In my lifetime. Like, that in itself makes me go, what? The Beatles are at number one in the UK, I think in the way that they've been able to utilize the technology and separate the vocal and, the piano and all of that, I find it very moving. I find it very moving in the chorus when, you get Ringo and Paul joining in with their older voices now. The little homage to George and the slide guitar solo. And then we get to that outro bit. And I kind of wanted more of that final phrase of I thought, we could go into, in the way that at the end of Hello Goodbye they do the, hey my hey hello. I thought this could go anywhere now, and it kind of respectfully ends.
Right.
And I guess politically, from Paul's point of view, you go, well, I can't take the piss here. I can't just stick a whole different segue on the end of McCartney, And I don't know whether you were a fan of McCartney 3, but when that came out, towards the end of lockdown, I was like, God, this is it's like delving into his mind. This 80-year-old genius, was on his own in the studio, just playing everything, and you go, God, it's quite out there. It's like McCartney 2 or McCartney when he goes off piste, he's always, So I think that he had like a duty of care to that song to go, we need to deliver it. Me and Ringo need to come up with something that obviously, Yoko and Sean and Julian, I guess, as well. I don't know what his input is on it, or, and Olivia and Danny, go, yeah, we all agree on it and we think it's great. And I love it. I kind of felt slightly differently about the video, if I'm honest. Have you seen the video?
Yeah, I have.
What did you think of the video?
The first time I watched it, I didn't like it.
No,
it was a little too goofy, and I didn't like all the superimposing stuff.
Yeah.
I thought there was a little. I'm so used to the Beatles being like ahead of their time and in the forefront of whatever new technology is out there, which they did with the song itself. But with the video, I felt. This is stuff that's all been done before. I thought it was kind of cheap. There's one quick spot in the video where they show Lennon, I think it's like 1979. If you look at the actual footage, I think he's in a record store or something in Japan. I think it's from 79. They show a quick clip of that somewhere in the video, and it looks like a recording studio because you see like, reel-to-reels in the background and stuff.
Yeah.
So that, to me, fit the footage they were showing of Paul, George, and Ringo in the studio working on the song.
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked to see more of that, just studio footage, them working on the song, and leave it at that.
Yeah.
The stuff where it's current Paul and Ringo with the old footage of John and George, like, I get it. It's now and then. I get it, but I don't know. I just found it a little goofy. I've grown to... I don't hate it as much as I originally did.
Okay. I've banned myself from watching it. I think I've watched it 4 times. I watched it once because I watched it. I rapped last week on a TV program, and we were in between takes, and I was in a car and he was changing the cameras, and I knew the video was like landing at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
And we'd just done like a long shot, and I had a walkie-talkie in the car because I was having to drive the car into shot and stuff. And they were going, right, we're just going to change the lens. And I thought, oh, shit, what time? Right, I'm going to watch the video. And I got like 3/4 of the way through the video. And I heard, Ian, are you receiving us in the car? And it just got to the point when they were like arsing around and stuff. And I kind of went, yeah, I'm in the car. The Beatles are being weird. Like. And then we did the take. And then I watched it again when I got back to the trailer before going home. And again, just watched the whole thing going, with that face, what?
Yeah.
And then I got home and said to my wife and daughter, Beatles video dropped today. Would you like to see it? And I didn't I didn't say anything. So we put it on the telly and we watched it. And at the end of it, my wife kind of went, ew. Ooh, that was a bit weird.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, it is, isn't it? It's a bit odd. And then the next day I thought, right, I just need to now make up my mind. And I watched it one more time. I went, right, that's it. I'm not watching it again. Because I don't want it to ruin the song. I don't want it to ruin the song.
Yeah.
But I've seen lots of people online going, oh my God, it finished me off. It's beautiful. It's touched my heart. It's poignant, and great. I love that people are enjoying Peter Jackson's, work that he's come up with. But I find myself going, like that.
I thought you can't do much better than the Free as a Bird video. I thought that was just genius.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I
thought it was going to be a bit more than that. I did see one tweet of somebody going, "This video, it's like something that your grandma would do on an app and put on Facebook."
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. I kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
my 7-day free trial on a superimposing app.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I had higher expectations, and even before it came out, they were saying, "Oh, the ending's gonna make sure you have the tissues." I'm like, all right, for what? Because they're showing the Beatles pictures of them when they were kids. So what?
Allergies.
Right.
Have the tissues ready for allergies. It's going to listen, you might be allergic to this video. It's going to make you sneeze.
In case you're driving in a car and you have the window open.
Yeah, I've just had to wipe my nose because of it. Pardon me.
And then they have to come do makeup, and it just turns into a mess. All right, so that's, I agree, though. I thought the song was great. And I'm with you. Of course, we want more, but what do you hope?
Have you listened to? Sorry to interrupt your notes.
No, it's fine.
Have you listened to the Red Blue album remixes?
I haven't. I've started them. I've been listening to them out of order. I haven't just put one on and gone straight through. Some of it, I'm like, wow, that sounds amazing. And other ones, I'm like, I don't like that. Like Roll Over Beethoven to me just sounds too empty now. Like
okay.
that's a fun rockin' tune, their version of it. But now with the remixing, it sounds too like almost stripped back. And I Am the Walrus. I Am the Walrus. The ending, like it's totally different than what it. Like, have you heard it?
Yeah, I'm doing similar to you. I'm kind of dipping in and out, and I found myself hanging out around the Red album, kind of 64 onwards. Around that time, because some of it, I can't stop playing You Can't Do That. I got something to say. Ringo's kick drum and the whole groove, and I was like, oh my God.
Oh, really? Yeah, I haven't heard that one yet. Okay.
Yeah, really good.
Hey Bulldog came out really great, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be some technical people out there, but, I'm on an iPhone with, Apple AirPods, and I've got Dolby Atmos switched on, and I was kind of going, And then I went into settings and switched Dolby Atmos off because it's Dolby Atmos, switched Dolby Atmos off and went, there you go.
Oh, okay. Nice.
That's better. So I'm kind of slightly confused about that. I would like somebody to explain that one.
I wish Now and Then came out, like, I don't know, I just thought to re-release the Red and Blue and adding Now and Then, I just thought that, I didn't like that as being the way to put Now and Then out. I would have liked it to be released with something else or just differently.
Yeah.
I wasn't big on it. What do you hope
they got swallowed up a little bit? They've all been kind of
Yeah. I wish with the technology they have now that they would have taken Free as a Bird and Real Love. I mean, just put out an EP of those, of that with Now and Then, and just make it a nice EP of all the reunion stuff.
I feel like there's something, I don't know, whether it's political or contractual or something to do with the production on that, to do with Jeff Lynne, or is it rude to remix it? Because I loved Free as a Bird and Real Love when it came out, because it was like, yet again, another gift that you go, it's 95 or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Two more Beatles songs. And I guess because Jeff's still about, and I know lots of people go, I hate that really compressed Jeff Lynne ELO sound. I don't mind it at all.
No, me neither.
I think
love Jeff Lynne.
I think if Yeah, absolutely. And I think if Giles Martin goes, right, let's completely remix that, it's a bit like that. That's it. That's the version of that. We don't need to do that because it's fairly modern, as it is.
Yeah, true, I suppose. Yeah. All right, so let's. I want to move on. So who was getting back to your career? What actors that we know like have there been big names that everybody knows that kind of helped you along the way, or even just said something to you that kind of kept you going or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been really lucky to work with some amazing.
Yeah, I have more
actors.
pictures here as well. I got you and Anthony Hopkins.
Oh my God, that's
that's amazing right there, man.
I've got a very good Anthony Hopkins story as well.
Oh, all right, there we go.
So we did. This is on the set of The Dresser, and which is a brilliant play and was a film as well in early 80s, I'm going to say. And it's about an old actor that would tour, around the regional theatres with his company, and he's coming to the end of his days, and he has a dresser who they're inseparable, and they kind of bounce off each other, and it's a really complicated relationship. It's a great play, Ronald Harwood play. And so Ian McKellen was playing the dresser.
Oh, nice.
Anthony Hopkins playing Sir. And in it, we do... They're kind of cutting from him in the wings, having various issues with his memory and confidence and age, and back on stage to doing King Lear, a very King Lear, And so I'm playing Kent in that. And the director I'd worked with in theatre before, Sir Richard Eyre, who ran the National Theatre, who's a brilliant, lovely man, amazing. And I just got a phone call one day saying, one of those actors' phone calls that you get where you go, oh my God, I feel really lucky. But my agent going, so you've had an offer for a The Dresser, right? And I immediately go, a tour, a theatre, what? For TV. Sir Richard Eyre's directing, Anthony Hopkins playing Sir, Ian McKellen, and you go,
right.
And so this, we'd been shooting for quite a few days in Hackney Empire Theatre with an audience full of extras, essays. And we'd just finished shooting a scene where I was walking on and Tony was coming behind and the scene would begin.
You call him Tony, do you?
Yes, darling. I call him Tony. Yeah, that's very funny.
Sorry, keep going.
He
Sorry.
calls himself Tony, it's very lovely. And so we were sat in the wings, and we'd rehearsed for a while because Richard wanted us to get to know each other as a company in a room, and we had Edward Fox playing who's playing the Fool, and amazing cast. Everywhere you looked, you go, oh, amazing actors.
Yeah,
and me. Oh, it just said you were about to raise your hand. And so we'd been sat in the wings for a while and we got to know each other. And when I was auditioning to get into drama school, Silence of the Lambs had come out.
Oh, yeah.
And the run-up to auditioning, I was really getting into acting, like really getting, watching lots of old Scorsese films and watching, young Robert De Niro and getting into, there's so much to, soak up. And I went to see Silence of the Lambs at the cinema and with some friends, and it just kind of blew me away. He blew me away. And then I went back on my own. And then in my final meeting of drama school, we'd spent all day doing all kinds of things and, auditioning and doing your speeches. And then it got to interview stage. And the head of acting just asked me about actors who inspired me. And Anthony Hopkins was always one growing up where I remember as a child, he played Donald Campbell, he was a British, he was a guy that was breaking speed records over here, the land speed record. And he did, in the Lake District, which is up north, he did like the fastest boat and everybody was there watching it and it flipped and he died and they never found his body. And Anthony Hopkins played Donald Campbell in that. And that really stuck in my head. I remember going, God, he's incredible, So I talked about Anthony Hopkins in my meeting. So I'm sat in the wings. We're both dressed like that in the dark, waiting for the lights to be focused and the cameras are changing. And he'd been just talking about all kinds of things. And I kind of thought, well, here's your moment, Ian. And I went, I have to come clean, Tony. And he was like, go on. I said, I was so obsessed with Silence of the Lambs when I was auditioning to drama school, and he was like, oh, right, okay. And why? In what way? And I was like, how you arrived at that character, what, psychological breakdown of the character, how do you, I talked about it in mine, blah, 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 blah. And then he kind of just talked about part of his process and research and psychology and killer, And I'm sat there going, oh my God, I'm like sat in this is like being on, an amazing talk show, listening to, And he got to the end of his stories, and I was like, "Oh my God, that was amazing! Thank you." Okay, right, folks, and I'm going, "Shit, I've got to say a load of Shakespeare now. I better switch my brain on. What we're doing? Yeah, okay." I was waiting for my, stood in the wings, and that whole process before you go for a take, speed, sound, getting all the extras quiet, okay, and remembering we're going to shoot in a theatre, and I've got about to come on and go, my lord, all of that stuff, and I'm waiting for the moment, and I felt this presence behind me, like, and all I heard was, "You're from the FBI, aren't you, Clarice?" And I kind of went, "Oh my God." Oh, Jesus Christ. My Lord.
That's fantastic.
And as we walked on stage, you could see a little glint in his eye, like,
If he did the fava beans sound effect, I think I would have shit myself.
Yeah, I know. But do you know, there was another day where we were shooting the scene where, his daughter's died and King Lear comes on holding Cordelia, I think it is, and we did a few takes, and he puts her down, and Richard was happy, and Anthony Tony went, "Can I just one more? I just want to try something a little bit different, And yeah, you don't say no to Anthony Hopkins, yeah, of course. And he did another take, and it was mesmerizing, like tears coming down his cheek. So much so that I kind of almost forgot to come in with my line, because I was just stood there going, oh my God, this was like, oh shit, I'm in this.
Yeah. There's a I can't remember the name of the song. There's a Tom Petty song where Anthony Hopkins does the music video. Are you familiar with this?
Oh no, I'm not. No.
It was towards the end of Petty's. Obviously before he died. It was towards the end. I can't remember the name of the song, but the whole video is Anthony Hopkins walking through this what appears to be a very like a very poor town, and he walks into this dingy hotel-looking thing, and he walks up these stairs, and he walks into a room, but there's no dialogue, there's no nothing. It's just him walking through this town, and as he's walking up the stairs, just his facial expression. I mean, it's all over his face. I have some kind of personal connection to this place, and in this very room, something terrible happened to me. And it does. It's same thing. The first time I ever saw it, I just sat there like this.
I'll have to find that.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the song, but maybe if you just write in Tom Petty, Anthony Hopkins, maybe it'll come up. But
I love his Instagram, his online life now, Tony Hopkins. He's so playful, and he's had a really complicated life, and
just saw another one this morning. Just this morning I watched one where he's dancing in the kitchen. Yeah.
Just so lovely, and it's just all about seizing the moment, living for the day, have fun.
Absolutely.
Just
what a talent. All right, but now this next one, there's so many questions here with this. Well, obviously you up there in the middle with the hair.
Yeah.
Dame Judi Dench there, but then the fellow next to her. What is his name? The man next to her, sitting there.
That is Simon Callow, the brilliant Simon Callow.
Unfortunately, I don't know him for anything other than Four Weddings and a Funeral.
Yeah.
And he, to me, makes that, him and Rowan Atkinson, they make that movie, man. I mean, he was just fantastic in that movie. I don't know him for anything else, but I see that picture. I just knew. I was like, this guy has to be big in England. He has to be.
So Simon is an astonishing personality, a lovely human being, a brilliant actor. He does incredible one-man shows, Dickens, all kinds of things.
Oh, no kidding.
But he's just one of those wonderful, generous actors. Whenever I see him, unmistakable voice. And he was playing Falstaff. This is in Merry Wives. Now, this is at the RSC, the Royal Shakespeare Company in Stratford-upon-Avon, where Shakespeare's was from.
Which Mohawks are known for?
Which, say again?
Mohawks, obviously. You think Shakespeare, you think Mohawks.
Slightly punky little design there. Now, the brilliant drama teacher that I told you about when I was doing A levels would take us from where I grew up near Wigan, and we'd go like on a coach or get the train, and we'd go down to Stratford, and we would sit in the RSC and we would watch incredible actors, Robert Stevens, doing King Lear, Romeo and Juliet, going, the RSC, the RSC, the RSC.
Yeah.
And one day there was like a backstage tour, and we stood on the stage, and this was before I got into drama school, and stood there going, wow, what a magical place this is. The amount of legendary classical British actors that have been on this stage.
Sure.
And many years later, this was 2006, so I would be doing those school trips in, like 1990, 91. And then I got a phone call to audition for this, and this was a musical version of Merry Wives of Windsor, and they did this great, you can get it online, you can listen to it on, on your whatever streaming platform you want to listen to it on, Merry Wives the musical. And I auditioned and got the part, and then I found myself on stage at that theatre. Like the opening night of that show was a real kind of moment for me of going, God, this is where I came down from school to come and watch Shakespeare. This was my introduction to classical theatre, and I ended up being being up there, and it was really, it was a nice.
Yeah, that must be that's a big deal right there. There's a lot of talent in that picture.
So Simon's playing Falstaff. Judy is Mistress Quickly. Then you got Bardolph, Pito, Bardolph, Pistol, and Nym that have played Peter before. Yeah, and we're kind of the reprobates that hang around with Falstaff and in the tavern.
That's a great. Love the Mohawk, man. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, so normally we'd be signing off. You mind if we maybe just another 10 minutes? Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right, because I have one. I have one more question here, and then there was something else I wanted to do. So Elio again is chiming in. He says, "You must ask Ian about his amazing Elvis gig with Scotty Moore and DJ Fontana. Ian's too modest to bring it up." So, for those of you who don't know, DJ Fontana and Scotty Moore God bless you, they played with Elvis. They were in his band for several years. Scotty Moore being a fantastic guitar player. So, so tell us, what did you worked with them?
Yeah, so I went on tour with them. This was another one of those. So when we were in the Buddy show, I did that show for 2 years. I was having such a great time. And I was 22 and the money was good. And I had a little flat in London. And it was like, mid-90s in London. It was actually quite swinging. It was a great place to be, Lots of things were happening. And so I signed up for another year. And to alleviate not that I don't love Buddy Holly's music, but when you're playing 8 shows a week and you want to play some other stuff,
Yeah,
so we got a bit of a band together in the cast, and we used to play on this boat that was on the Thames called Macready's. And, we'd all jump around on the instruments, and I'd play guitar and have a sing rather than playing bass or drums or, And I think somebody saw me and suggested me to somebody who's a very good friend now called Liam Grundy, piano player. And Scotty and DJ were coming over to tour, and they needed a singer, because Elvis wasn't available. And so I kind of went along and had a meeting, and again, that kind of youthful confidence of, the main thing of the brief was that we need somebody that can play acoustic guitar like Elvis did. You know, certainly for that earlier stuff, Mystery Train and That's Right Mama, and
yeah, sure,
all of that stuff.
Love Mystery Train, love that one.
Yes, yeah. Oh my God, what a song, you know. And so they didn't want somebody to get on stage and you know, and I so I thought, how can I'm going to think about it from an acting point of view. I'm going to think of it like an acting, you know. How would I sing this song as Paul McCartney? How would I sing this song as John Lennon? How would I sing this song, you know, anybody other than Elvis? So I kind of went along and did my thing and then got offered the gig. And I had to tell my acting agent that I was kind of traveling I'm just going away for a month traveling. And I found myself in this band, you know, wow. With Scotty on guitar, DJ on drums, Pete Pritchard playing double bass, Liam on piano. And in the first half, Liam got a band together and we would like open, we would kind of warm the audience up, and I'd be playing kit for that, lots of shuffling and lots of,
nice.
You know. And then the second half, Scotty would walk on stage and DJ would be behind the kit. And I always remembered the first rehearsal, and I have got a guitar here, which I'm going to demonstrate. The first ever rehearsal, it was like, okay, met them. Scotty was really unassuming, quite quiet, very, hi there, how you doing? You know, right. DJ less so. He had a really great wig. He had a really great, like,
yes, he did. I remember that wig.
He used to, you know, and hey, buddy, you know, and first song, what should we do? And Scotty go, well, let's do That's All Right, Mama. And I was like, yeah, okay, cool.
Love the accents, by the way. Yeah. It's like Elliot.
So
like Elliot, I don't know if you ever heard him try to do a New Yorker. Yeah, the two of you, you should do a skit or something where you play Americans. That would be funny. Oh, there's the guitar. Excellent.
So look, I went, this might sound loud now, I might have to get away. So go, right, that's all right, Mama. Okay. Oh shit, I start that. So I start going. And I go, Scotty goes, stop. And I'm like, oh, God, here we go. And I was like, what? Man, you're playing that guitar too good.
Wow.
Elvis wouldn't be picking the strings out.
Oh, wow.
You're picking out A and a D and A and A. Elvis would just go, well, so I was like, okay, first guitar lesson from the legend that is Scotty Moore.
That's crazy.
He was like, that's my job to pick out those strings. I would find myself on stage in certain, you know, we did like, you know, Ronnie Scott's and Mean Fiddlers. And
yeah, nice.
There was one night actually in a venue that Elio's played at in Milton Keynes where Cleo Lane and Johnny Dankworth's place, the Stables, I think it is, which isn't that far from George Harrison's house. And we knew that Joe Brown was coming that night, definitely.
Yeah.
And word on the street was George was coming.
Oh, wow.
And I know. And then we were on stage and I remember seeing just at the back Joe Brown and like, and looking for George. And George bottled it down. He invited them to Friar Park a couple of days later. And they hung out there rather than, because I think George, you know, at gigs like that, you know, you turn up and you're George Harrison. You're going to get a bit of attention. And I think, you know, being the type of guy that he was, he didn't want to, you know, have all eyes going.
Yeah.
But there were some nights on that, you know, like the chemistry of rock and roll, really magical moments. Things like Jailhouse Rock, where, you know, you've got Scotty slightly, you know, swinging on the guitar and DJ's slightly playing straight, and you get that. But it would feel like it would feel dangerous. It would feel like electric on stage. And some of the audience members, and we always had a spare amp and a guitar on stage because anyone who was anyone was coming to see it. Like all of these
Good idea.
Yeah, all of these kind of rock and rollers wanted to see because Scotty Moore influenced
Everybody.
Keith Richards, Jimmy Page, George Harrison. He was right there at the beginning, kind of paving the way. So I'd get handed a bit of paper. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for, Gary Moore, or please put your hands together for Jimmy Page. And you think, oh my God.
And those were some of the guys that did join you?
Yeah.
So you jammed with Jimmy Page?
Yeah, like
holy shit!
But just me going, what? We did this gig at Air Studios, which is George Martin's place.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it was a Gibson guitar day, and there were various people there, and we did the thing, and they gave me a big Gibson guitar to play, and then afterwards we were just stood round having a chat, and it was me. Scotty, Jimmy Page, Jeff Beck, George Martin.
Holy moly.
I look back now and go, did that actually happen?
Right.
And it was just being confident. It was just that thing of being early 20s. And it was so many. And then after that tour, we did a couple of one-off gigs. We went to Hamburg.
Oh, nice.
Which was amazing because we met Tony Sheridan.
Oh, wow.
Who played the Beatles. Yeah. Astrid was there.
Yeah. Wow.
We went down the Reeperbahn. So I kind of relived the whole Beatle Hamburg thing. And we played, we did a couple of gigs in Paris. Truly magical. And
that's amazing.
Yeah. I don't forget it happened, but it's so unrelated to everything that I normally do with acting and stuff. And I think it came out of my love of music. I think vocally I kind of could sit in that kind of Elvis range. And I think there were a lot of people that wanted that gig because they kind of wanted to do Elvis.
Right, sure.
Yeah.
Which was probably why they wouldn't get it, right? Because you're saying they didn't want an impersonation.
I think the guys kind of wanted it to be about the music and Scotty and what he brought to it, and a celebration as opposed to some guy. We were up in Scotland. You said I can swear. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were up in Scotland and we were playing the Lemon Tree, I think it was called, in Aberdeen, and there was a guy in the full 68 comeback special outfit. His hair was done. He had a bit of eyeliner on, and it was quite a nerve-wracking gig because I was kind of fronting it. Scotty didn't particularly want to talk a lot, but so I would be like, and now we're doing, and we'd start off at Mystery Train. We'd kind of go up to King Creole, that kind of, and do some deep cuts in there, Milk Cow Blues and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
But quite often I would find myself at the front singing, and there'd be guys just kind of giving me like that face.
I can't stand people like that.
The guy in the 68 comeback special thing, and Scotty would sign stuff afterwards, and I'd go and get a drink, and and I could see him kind of coming across the venue, and he came up to me and he went, "How'd you get this gig, you fucker?"
That's fantastic.
I'm Ian.
Because I'm not dressed like that, you moron.
Yeah, because
we were just talking about that the other day. Because Beatlefest is in February, and they just announced it's going to be in New York, and tickets are on sale. And so we were just talking about that recently in here. Like, I can't stand those people that think they're Beatles. They walk around with their fake Liverpool accent, and they wear their Sgt. Pepper outfits. Like, you're a freak. Yeah. You're a freak. You give the real fans a bad name. Go away. They make me nuts.
Yeah. I know. Have you ever seen the bootleg Beatles?
I've seen videos. I've never seen them in person.
Live. If you ever get a chance to see the bootleg Beatles live, see the bootleg Beatles live.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, like, as a Beatles fan, it's self-deprecating to a point, but oh my God.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. I mean, all the instruments, all the gear, all the right part.
There's a band here. I don't know if they go your way or not. The Fab Four.
Okay, yeah.
These guys are well-known musicians. Will Lee on bass. You know Will Lee? He's played with everybody. His biggest claim to fame, he was in the house band for David Letterman.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But he's played with if you Google him and see the list of people he's played with, it's a crazy list. But he's probably the biggest name in that band. But same thing. They recreate everything down to the exact note. There's tons of different instruments. All the guys are like shifting around, playing different things. These guys, they play everything to the letter. It's very impressive.
Yeah, it's great. It's so good.
Is there footage somewhere of you with the Scotty Moore thing? I would love to see that.
I don't know.
No, huh? Well, yeah. I mean, that's something. That's quite a.
Yeah.
That's a great thing to be a part of. All right, so we've been staying on extra. I had plans on doing this a lot longer, but we've just been having fun talking. But I did tell you that we were going to do a little Beatles trivia.
Oh God!
So I'm gonna see quickly if I can find the 3 hardest questions.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not going to be good at this.
I have faith in you. I have faith in you. Yeah. See, it's even these, like, some of these questions. I'm like, what? The first question, and I don't expect you to answer this, but the first question I see: which 2 CBS reporters participated in the network's first story of the Beatles? If you know that, there's something wrong with you.
I'm never going to get that.
Yeah, no way. All right. Oh, all right. Now I'm learning something. Apparently, in 1959, the Quarrymen reunited for a one-off gig. I didn't even know that.
In when?
In 1959, the Quarrymen, they apparently reunited and played one gig together. All right.
Reunited in 59.
All right. Yeah. See. So yeah, some of these in the film Yellow Submarine, who does the flying glove first attack? Like, I don't remember that, and I'm not going to expect you to remember that. Let's see. Let's see. All right. What was the name of George's album of sound effects made on a Moog synthesizer? That's my first.
George's?
George Harrison. Yes. He made an album of sound effects that he made on a Moog synthesizer.
Well, that's not the Carnival of Light thing, is it?
No. It's the name of the album. This was an album that he put. If I'm not mistaken, it's his first foray outside the Beatles.
Really? I don't know.
Oh,
All things must pass. No.
Electronic Sound.
No. Yeah. You see.
No, you're not familiar with that one?
No, I'm not.
Who sang lead on Till There Was You? Is that more your speed?
Paul McCartney.
Yeah. So that's a level of questions I should go with.
It depends. I mean, there's some stuff I'll get, and others I'll go, what?
All right. Here's this one. This is an interesting one. The song "Love Me Do."
Yeah.
There's 3 different versions. Name and there's a different drummer on each. Name the 3 drummers.
So there must be a Pete Best version.
That's one.
There's a Ringo version, and then they got a session guy in, didn't they?
They did, for the version that everybody knows and loves, the big hit version. That is not Ringo on the drums on that one. Ringo's playing tambourine. What is that drummer's name?
Little Johnny Potatoes.
You must have done some improvisation classes at school there. That was classic. That was great. His name is...
The guy in here tonight, it's Little Johnny. Come on, Little Johnny.
Andy White is his name. Andy White.
Andy White. Come on, that's good.
Let's see. What song did Paul write for Mary Hopkins? Or, well, a big hit that she had. That Paul McCartney...
Yes. Oh, God. Oh God! All I can think of is one Priscilla stepping inside of Mary Hopkins. Ellie will be shouting. Oh my God!
What Elio would be shouting? He's a big Mary Hopkin fan.
This is the type of thing that you probably know. Oh no! I know what it is. I know what it is.
You ready?
Yeah.
It's the song "Goodbye." Yeah. All right. There's my last one. My last question for you. It's also hard. It's a hard question. There's a singer-songwriter by the name of Larry Williams. Name the two songs of his that the Beatles recorded and released, obviously.
Larry, what? Yeah.
Oh, Elio, by the way, has commented.
Early albums, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of their. It's early stuff. Yeah.
You've got to know your songwriters for this. Is it like?
Give me one, and you'll get credit.
Mr. Postman, please, Mr. Postman.
No.
Not no. Misery.
No. Two good rockers, like big rockers. Both sung by Lennon.
City.
Both sung by what was it?
Kansas City. No, that's the McCartney.
Yeah. Both sung by
you see,
Lennon.
I'm letting myself down. I've let you down.
We were doing so well. I shouldn't have come out with the Beatle questions.
What songs are they? Go on.
Disney Miss Lizzie and Bad Boy. Two great songs, by the way. Elio has... Yeah. Oh, Elio did comment, but now it's gone. He removed it. But yeah, he was agreeing. He was agreeing that he would know those questions. All right. Last question. I think you'll get this because you said your parents grew up near them. What high school did George Harrison attend?
He was at the Liverpool, what is now LIPA, Liverpool Grammar School for Boys.
It says the Liverpool
Institute.
Liverpool Institute. You have redeemed yourself, sir. You did great. You did great. Very proud of you.
Not on those ones, I didn't.
You did great. Who cares? It was fun. Ian McCulloch, Ian Conningham. This was fantastic. This was a lot of fun. Thank you, pal. This is.
Thank you very much.
Before we go, just tell us what's next for you.
Well, I've just wrapped last week on a Paramount Plus drama thriller called Insomnia, and I don't think I can say any more than that.
Oh, okay. Do we know? Can you tell us when it's coming out, or no? Or you don't know?
It'll be sometime next year, I imagine.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then I'm just, the life of the jobbing actor. I did a self-tape today. I did a self-tape last week.
Nice.
In my head, I'm kind of finished for Christmas, but something might come in.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, let's all the best and good luck with Insomnia and whatever else, and let's do this again sometime, huh? Oh, there we go.
It's all because of you. There you go.
Nice. Last Monday we had a musician in here. His name is Joe DeJesu. In fact, one time Elio was in here and Joe and him sang some Billy Joel together. But Joe DeJesu, he played the full song on his acoustic. He played that tune. Right. Yeah. Last Monday. I'll have to isolate it and post it because Joe's great.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let's do this again sometime, huh? This was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, listen, thank you so much for inviting me on. It's a real joy to talk to you.
Likewise. Thank you, pal.
Yeah. Have a good rest of your day.
Do you ever end up this way shooting or acting? Do you ever come
for a while? I love coming to New York. I really love coming that side. I've not been for about 10 years, but
okay.
I really want to come over. My wife has never been, so I really want to come over.
Yeah, come on out. We'd love to see you. We'll go see a show or something. We'll get you in here. That'll be fun.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. All right. Ian Conningham, thank you, pal. This was a lot of fun. Thanks.
Tony Walker, same to you. Where's the camera? There it is.
All right, we'll see you soon. Thank you.
See you, mate. Bye.
See ya. Bye-bye. There you go.
Recordings.
Oh, okay. That was fun. Ian Conningham, ladies and gentlemen. Be on the lookout for Insomnia, whatever that is. There you go. So thanks for sticking around with us. We went a little late today. Hope you guys didn't mind that. Thank you guys for hanging out and watching. So, all right. So it's 12:53. I'm just going to go until 1. I was telling you guys that we had a great weekend with Ben Bailey. Let's see. Yeah, there's a picture of me, Jay, and Ben Bailey. There's Don and Chris Williamson. They were here over the weekend. I think I showed you this. There's Bosie. Okay, so we so also this weekend, I just want to give out a quick shout out to Jen Snortland. Jen Snortland was in here the other day promoting her event where she put out her Long Island Men of Comedy calendar. And she also had a show where the guys in the calendar were doing their sets. All the proceeds to the show and the calendar are going to the Barbara C. Wilson School, which is a school for children with special needs, which my daughter actually went to that school. Jen has a daughter currently in that school. So, so Jen had the show yesterday. It was at a place locally called the Garden Social. Almost everybody in this calendar performed. Fat Jay was there. There's a picture of Fat Jay. Les Deegan performed. Who else? Richie Byrne performed. Benny Rizzuti performed. Who else? Mike Keegan, of course, performed. Here's a shot of me holding my calendar. Dan LaRocco's in the picture. Joe Cravella is there. They both performed. Joey Petroni sitting next to me there. It was weird. Me, Joey, I was just going to watch, but somehow me, Joey, and Don Sill, we became the judges. But there was no way we were going to seriously judge these guys. The comedians are well too good that we had no business judging them. Let me do this again. So Benny Rizzuti, Les Deegan, Lou Pratz, Mike Keegan, Richie Byrne, Joe Cravella, Dan LaRocco. I think that's everybody. Forgive me if I missed anybody, but it was just a great time. Here's Don. Here's Don and Dan and Joe. All three of them are in the calendar. And then the last picture I wanted to show you, my favorite picture, the back of Keegan. So, that's my favorite part of Keegan is his butt. There you go. That's our... and it was a great time, and again, a great cause. So congratulations to Jen Snortland on a job well done, and it was a fun day. We had a great time. So so it was just a big weekend around here. Had a great time. Hope everybody that was around enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the show today. Again, Karen Krench will be here tomorrow with me and Sean. Richie Byrne is a possibility. Looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Don't miss that. And of course, it's Tuesday Trivia. And, of course, here at the club, we've got some great shows coming up. Don't forget, Hershey and the Keegs, our show that's here every Tuesday night. They're doing a live show at the brokerage on Friday, December 1st. Mike Keegan, of course, Mark Hirschman, Brandon Lacaruba, Pat O'Rourke, and Richie Byrne are performing, and yours truly doing 5 minutes, because I am a part of their show, too. So they were nice enough to ask me to do it. Don't forget, December 22nd at the brokerage, a fun Christmas or holiday-themed murder mystery show with Knockem Dead Comedy. Come on down, have a lot of fun with us. It's going to be a great time. It's an audience interactive comedic murder mystery show, and you guys get to solve the crime based on what you saw during the show. And also, this weekend on a governor's stage, Nikki Smiggs, Joe Curry, Wally Collins, the Uptown Comedy Show. Just some of the names you'll see on a governor's stage this weekend. Go to govs.com to check out the full schedule and make your reservations to some great comedy shows. Go to Knockem Dead Comedy to find out our schedule. We have a lot of shows coming up. We're back at that meatball place on December 20th. The brokerage, December 22nd. So if you're out in Suffolk, come see us at that meatball place. If you're in Nassau, come see us at the brokerage. This Saturday, we're at Bellport Brewing Company. That's out in Bellport, also out east, Long Island. Go to knockemdeadcomedy.com. Check out our full schedule. Even, we have a couple of shows lined up for the new year as well. So there you go. We're out of here. Tuesday Trivia tomorrow with me, Sean, and Karen Krentz. Tonight, Steve Squared at 6:30, and I don't know if we got If we got Flip Tracks Radio at 8, I don't know if we do or not. If we do, I will definitely post it. But there you go. But Steve Squared will be on at 6:30, and hopefully Flip Tracks Radio. And there you go. And then we're back here tomorrow. Everybody have a great day. Thanks for hanging out late with us. Thank you again to Ian Conningham. He was fantastic. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you guys later.
Event today. What will you experience at a Knockem Dead Comedy Murder Mystery Show? Suspense, excitement, love, more love, violence. Well, not really. And, of course, some music. Knockem Dead Comedy is the #1 murder mystery troupe, entertaining thousands of people for over 20 years.
You have a great night or what? Good.
Their hilarious murder mystery shows are full of audience interaction from beginning to end that will keep you laughing all night long. Their shows are not to be missed. Knockem Dead Comedy's murder mystery themes include a mob show, a redneck wedding, a high school reunion, a family reunion with a luau theme, or your own custom show.
Johnny, you have a good time tonight or what?
Had an awesome time.
All right. You had a great time. KDC, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah!